All right, this brings us to the fact that there are currently four main language models. If any of you prefer using one over the others, let me know quickly in the chat. But these are basically the most important four. Of course, I excluded the Chinese DeepSeek model. It's good in its own way, but for privacy reasons, because in its licensing agreement, it says that it takes the data you give it, trains on it, and stores it on its servers, and there was an incident where it got leaked. So for privacy reasons, let's just say we can skip it. What's the main difference between each one? I mean, aside from the comparisons that say this one is stronger or that one is better. Let me share my approach with you. For me, Claude is the go-to in the initial stage for anything related to writing. Anything related to writing. Why? Because it's very powerful. Let's say, when it comes to writing and even the next stage after that. I mean, anything related to, let's say, programming, but for writing, especially in Arabic, it's been trained extremely well. On the other hand, it's also very strong, but in programming. So anyone who needs things related to programming, Claude, honestly, is extremely powerful. Now you might ask me, I don't care about programming, so why should programming matter to me? I'll tell you something that might open up new horizons for you. Try to really break that barrier. Try to program something executable, even if you don't know programming, because it's very likely it will help you. The right answer comes from trying not necessarily the first time when my mind is preoccupied, maybe by the third attempt. So the first attempt might have mistakes, the second attempt is another try, and then a third attempt. For example, you might ask me, what do you mean by that? Let's say, what could we program and try out? We could try programming a Chrome extension. You know Chrome extensions, the ones we add to Chrome. Maybe you have a specific problem. There's a certain API you might need. That means I want to talk in a way that covers advanced, intermediate, and beginner levels together, so it benefits as many people as possible. For example, I might use a specific API, like from ChatGPT, that summarizes an article, and I want to build a Chrome extension so that when I visit a link, it summarizes it for me in the way I want. I explain this to Claude or to Grok, and it gives me the Chrome extension code very quickly. I mean, it probably won't work perfectly from the first try. Another example is with AppScript. If someone works with Google Drive, you can also write AppScript code, and it writes it in a really excellent way. As for HTML, of course, that's a given, and the same goes for stories, PHP, and Python. Those are a given as well. The idea of me installing Python on my computer, then asking it to write the code for me and run it on my machine. I mean, just copy the code and run it on your device. At first, you might think it's really difficult. Believe me, in just 15 minutes, you'll break that barrier and start doing whatever you want. Now, which is stronger in programming, Claude or DeepSeek, regardless of privacy? Honestly, Claude is stronger. Claude is number one, especially the new model. The new model is just unreal when it comes to programming. Grok is also very strong in programming, to be honest, but no one really pays attention to it. But with Grok, it's powerful in programming, especially with online search. For example, when I tell Grok that I have a problem and I want to solve it, it brings me the solution. Now, notice that I'm going to start comparing them, but in a somewhat unorganized way. So one is strong in writing, Claude is good at programming, Grok is good at programming, but also with search. Does anyone know why it's stronger in search than the others? Notice, every model has a little trick that gives it an edge. Sometimes you might need it, sometimes you might not, because it has access to tweets. Oh, that's really nice. Thank you so much. It has tweets, or as I previously mentioned, it has posts on X. So sometimes it might actually provide you with an answer that even ChatGPT or Claude wouldn't quite catch. So that's a very important point. There are uses where you might really need it. Especially with news, for example, you might consider using Grok to find out who was the first to spread a rumor. If anyone here works in journalism, who was the first to tell a lie? It brings you their account. It catches it like that. There are no tokens involved. ChatGPT, Gemini. On the other hand, you might say, okay, that all sounds great. But where are you, Google? Google is making progress. They started late, but now they're running. And honestly, they're competing in a really impressive way. Google is actually playing a truly significant and substantial role at Google. Its undeniable strength, of course, is that it's seamlessly integrated into the very fabric of search, so Google search is really quite excellent and remarkably effective. When I undertake a deep and thorough search on Google, it consistently brings me comprehensive results that genuinely rival even the most advanced capabilities of ChatGPT, if not in many instances, proving to be even better and more insightful. It can search through more than 100 sources. Can you imagine what it means to have 100 sources? Honestly, that's a number that's just unbelievable. All right, we're going to look at practical examples for each one of them, especially the new one. But maybe the question that comes up when you open ChatGPT is this. ChatGPT is really not good at naming things at all. Even Sam Altman honestly said it clearly. We're terrible at naming things. You get the feeling they're just programmers, like our programmer friends. Back in college, the guys would finish a program and call it version 1, then 2, then 3, and sometimes they'd even go with 3.1. Because honestly, they didn't feel like calling it 4. They just didn't think it deserved it. Then 3.11, then 3.5. So it's the same thing. What's the difference between these models? Let me clarify between two groups, especially when it comes to paid versus free, which really makes a difference here between the one that thinks and the one that doesn't. The GPT-3 here is the model that actually thinks, and when there's real thinking involved, it's really good at deep analysis and it takes its time. The nice thing is, it even writes out its thought process for you. So this is really great when you give it files. It can think about them, or even when you give it internet access. Honestly, this is really awesome. I mean, I was thinking about getting a car, and I was torn between renting, leasing, or owning, and all those options. And the company sent me 6 distinct offers, and with my somewhat limited Spanish, I carefully gave it these offers and told it to thoroughly search them for me, meticulously compare them, and clearly show me the significant differences. It promptly gave me the best possible summary and insightful comparison. This particular one is more expensive here, but this other one is truly the best. It even read between the lines. Let's say it always possesses that remarkable thinking advantage. Let's just agree that it's not always useful when I need the model to think. I use it, but it's not always helpful for thinking. The 4, which is the well-known version, and the 4.1 that was released, are both good as well. The difference between them is that it focuses on my work every day and everything. The 4.1 version, they hid it, though I don't know why they hid it. They tucked it away. It takes 1,000,000 tokens. 1,000,000 tokens doesn't mean 1,000,000 characters. It means it can handle a large number of characters. Now, the 4.5. It focuses on the aesthetics of writing. So, if you want to send an email to someone or need something that involves text, it focuses on writing. I think the 4.5 version for that. Now, the mini version is like the original release, but it's just, less capable. Let's say it's less efficient, just so they always have the high-end model and the model. Let's say the one that doesn't stand out. The important thing is, when we work with GPT, we need to choose the right model. Like I told you, there's no need for me to use the view thinking when we don't need it, because sometimes thinking can be misplaced. I mean, you end up overcomplicating things more than necessary. When can thinking, let's say, not be useful? Thinking might not always be useful. For example, when I have a text and a specific task, and I don't want to, let's say, get creative with it. Like when I don't want to get creative, such as with translation or writing. Traditional data analysis, for example, I don't want it to look beyond the text. I don't want it to make extra efforts to think. Thinking is useful when, for example, I need it for brainstorming. Notice here the word brainstorming, I need it to think, like when I ask for suggestions on how to use artificial intelligence in education. What's the difference between thinking and not thinking? If it's without thinking, artificial intelligence in education just gives me the answers it has learned, arranges the letters together, and gives me a nice answer. But if I tell it to think, it pauses and tries to make connections. Let's say between things. Of course, why am I also not too enthusiastic about thinking? For another very important reason, it's not available in an unlimited way. You only get 50 times a week. So basically, we need to preserve it and not burn through it. Let's say, use it directly. So that's a very important point. Now, with Gemini, it's the same thing. It also has models, and the same idea applies. There's always a practical model and a thinking model, which is either exclusively paid or the expensive one. If we're talking about the paid version, we're always talking about $20 or $23, which is the monthly fee on Google. You get more additional features. For example, Google Drive, I think you get a good amount of storage. I don't know exactly, maybe it's 2 terabytes, I think. So there are more benefits. Let's say, what's nice about Gemini is that it's integrated with email. So if something comes to your email and then needs to go to Google, and let's say we're working in Google Docs, you end up interacting with your email through Gemini. Last time, I lost my plane ticket with Play, and my email has like 10,000 emails. It's a mess. When I asked it to find my plane ticket to Beirut, it gave it to me right away. The idea of written or quick search, we'll see it too when we do some hands-on experiments together. The nice thing is that, for now, it's free. I'm not being shortchanged. It solves everything for you. Yeah, it's really strong in writing and in searching the internet. It's amazing, honestly. It really does bring you the information. I mean, when I tell it I have a problem with a certain topic, it's honestly the only one that actually goes and searches for it and brings it back. The deep search feature is also really nice. We'll talk about it. The way it thinks is also great. The way it thinks is especially useful when I'm looking for a solution. So always think about this question. How do I look for a solution? I have a problem and I want to find the best solution. No, not just any solution, but something out of the ordinary. And that's where it's really helpful. For example, I have a problem where I want to get the latest news as it happens and create a newsletter. That requires some real thinking when you need to think things through. This is different from the question, what's the best program to build a newsletter? That doesn't really need much thought. So here, the group thinks and says, well, whoever wants something to get the news as it comes out. And after thinking about it, I tell you, you need an RSS reader. You can connect an RSS reader with a tool like IFT, and together they automate things for you. I mean, it really gives you something, a real solution. There are even more solutions in the cloud, and of course, there are both free and paid options. And what's even better is that it's especially great for developers, to be honest. I mean, there's the cloud, which we connect with what's called NCP. NCP is a protocol that allows agents to communicate with each other in a technical way. So this truly opens up a vast array of exciting possibilities for software developers. You could, for example, meticulously create a sophisticated program with NCP, like, say, efficiently sending an email, or perhaps accurately converting a lengthy YouTube video into easily digestible text, and then, subsequently, the intelligent agent seamlessly communicates with another agent, facilitating complex interactions. I hope I explained that clearly. But this is the future. Agents will talk to other agents, solve problems for each other, and keep going. For example, if you have a video, you don't need to extract the text yourself because you don't have that feature. I have to give it the video transcript. I have to work around it by extracting the text from YouTube and providing it in the agent's environment. I could tell it, summarize this video for me, and it would go look for an agent to do that. This agent converts YouTube videos to text, does that task, and gives me the result. Then, if I want to convert it to a Word document, it goes to another agent that handles Word tasks. When these agents work together, it's like having a Superman in the end. And this brings us to the point that, honestly, as impressive as language models are right now, the real future is just starting to unfold. Now we have something called an agent. The agent is an AI representative that actually takes action, not just describing things, but making decisions. And the more I think about it, the more amazing this becomes. Where is this going to go in the future? How is it going to move forward? I mean, imagine I want to make an interactive video, so I could use a model to generate the video. Then another model sends it a draft of the script and translates it into Egyptian Arabic. It then sends this information to a specialized program that enables it to speak the entire script aloud. Then it sends it to another one. That one syncs the lip movements to the speech. Then it puts it all back together on the video and gives you the final result. So you say to me, wow, what an amazing thing. But this isn't artificial intelligence. This is an agent. Artificial intelligence is every stage in between. But when we put them all together and let it make decisions, when I give it the freedom to make decisions, then it's called an agent. It's like when I tell you about those tools that make PowerPoint presentations. Do you know what the trick is to making PowerPoint presentations? If you want to think about it systematically or programmatically all the time, imagine that the agent is putting things together like a puzzle. The agent has a board and puts together the best possible combination, the most logical combination, meaning it shouldn't be impossible or too difficult. So, in your opinion, how would we pull off such a trick? To create a PowerPoint, what's the very best trick to make a great PowerPoint presentation? First of all, if I wanted to write code and make a PowerPoint, even if it keeps trying for 100 years, it won't work out because, as we said, it's not Superman. The PowerPoint won't turn out right. It lacks that human touch, the font, the style. And these things, if we want to change the word PowerPoint, slide, what's the really simple programming language you need to create a really nice and attractive output? HTML. HTML can give me the best code with flowers and all. So if I design it, meaning if I make the agent generate instead of, the result is generated as HTML code. And then I printed the HTML as a PDF. So what do I have now? Now I have PowerPoint alternatives or slides. The word PowerPoint, no, I should say slides. Now I have a presentation. So always think, if you want to put the puzzle pieces together, what's the trick you want to put together? This trick is the solution. It's not going to, well, not really. Honestly, I say it won't work, but maybe by the time we end the call, someone will have done it. We always might need a little tweak like this, but let's not think in a magical way. For example, if I wanted to create this image, of course, with the AI on the left, I told it to draw me an infographic and gave it the information I wanted. If I want to get it in Arabic, it doesn't support Arabic. What do you think is the easiest trick to make it in Arabic? Always think of the simplest trick. Don't think that I should just tell it to write in Arabic or support Arabic, or any of that stuff. Just take it in English like I do. Open it in Paint, or Canva. Erase the text. You don't need Photoshop. Just erase it with the eraser tool. Color the background, put a box, and write on it in Arabic. If someone checks my page, they'll find nice designs. People say, wow, he's writing in Arabic. I'm not actually writing in Arabic or anything. We're just using, let's say, this trick. The agent is truly great because it can perform tasks that might typically take half an hour, an entire hour, or even work continuously all night long. And these tasks are impossible to do with a language model because it has its limitations. For example, who can give such an example? I mean, you could pick something with a language model that's easy, but it needs an agent. If the task is big, if I want to generate a 300-page file, there's no way I can generate a 300-page file with ChatGPT. But if I go to an agent and give it the command, and it's something that can be structured or repeated, it'll do it once, twice, 3, 4 times. It could easily end up with 300 pages. Why? Because here, it's actually performing a sequence of operations. It finishes, then goes back and continues, finishes, then goes back and continues. So it has turned into an agent, not just a language model. An agent that uses several, let's say, language models.